What is the saddest song you've ever heard? It's not a sad song as far as lyrics go, but I used to sing Here Comes the Sun to my daughter from the time she was born, even into her teenage years. It was our song, but she committed suicide at 17 and I can't even think about it or hear the first two chords without losing it. The Night We Met by Lord Huron. No matter where I am, if I'm happy, who I'm with, etc. I'll bawl my eyes out if that song plays. It's so painful and true because one day they're there and they're your everything and then they start slipping until they're gone and you wished you could go back to before you met them so you wouldn't have to go through the pain of losing them. Just the lyrics, I had all and then most of you, some and now none of you, hit this. People falling out of love in relationships, growing apart with friends, family members passing, etc. is what this hits for me, and it hits hard. The Night My Mama Died. My dad sang Elvis Can't Help Falling in Love to her in the back seat of the car on the way to the ER. She died of fully metastatized pancreatic cancer 18 days after diagnosis. My 10-year-old sang, Remember Me, from Coco at my father's funeral. The end of that movie was already an onion cutter, but now Sugar Skulls make me ugly cry. The Show Must Go On, by Queen. The song is basically Freddie admitting he is sick and about to die even though publicly he denied he was ill. Does anybody know what we are living for? I guess I'm learning I must be warmer now, I'll soon be turning. Round the corner now, outside the dawn is breaking, but inside in the dark I'm aching to be free. You are my sunshine, everything, but the chorus is heartbreaking. Few people know anything but the chorus though. Leaves from the vine falling so slow like fragile tiny shells drifting in the foam. Little soldier boy comes marching home, brave soldier boy comes marching home. How to Disappear Completely by Radiohead. Haunting instrumental. Depression dripping through every line of lyrics. I am not here, this isn't happening. Strange Fruit by Billie Holiday. Edit. Thanks to all the people recommending Nina Simone's version, as well as others. All chill-inducing, and I love the conversations and knowledge in this thread. Thanks for the awards, too. Into Dust by Mazzy Star gets me. Edit. Thanks so much for the awards. George Jones, He Stopped Loving Her Today. 4th of July, Sufjan Stevens. Danny Boy, at a friend's funeral 10 years ago. He, his sister and his GF all passed away in a house fire, all in their early 20s. It was an Irish wake and the mix of grief and whiskey joy was something else. Bjork and Tom York, I've Seen It All. From the film Dancer in the Dark. Woman is going blind and York is enticing her with all the things she hasn't seen yet. But she just dismisses each of them and says it's okay because she's seen it all. Edit. For those not familiar with it, Bjork did both the soundtrack and acted in this film. It was famously traumatizing for her and she has not spoken to the director since. This song was nominated for Best Original Song at the 2001 Oscars, and Bjork arrived in a dress made to look like a swan that was created by a friend of hers amidst all the high-end Hollywood fashion. While she was made fun of for that, I like to think that it has aged well and is now seen as a beautiful dress. That One Jessie Sings in Toy Story 2. Limousine by Brand New. It is about a flower girl at a wedding who was killed by a drunk driver. IIRC. It has been a while since I heard it because it legit makes me too sad. The lyrics are incredibly dense and metaphorical, and the music mirrors the falling and rising emotion of the story. Such a strange, beautiful, and heartbreaking song. Mine is Fast Car by Tracy Chapman. It's so heartbreaking. I Will Always Love You by Dolly Parton. You can really tell she fucking lived that song. Hurt Johnny Cash. That song from Up makes me cry every time and it doesn't even have lyrics. Sam Stone by John Prine. There's a hole in Daddy's arm where all the money goes. Alternatively, Hello in There, from the same album. Sylvia the Antlers. Actually that whole album, Hospice, breaks me, but this song in particular just leaves me in a mess every time. Barber's Adagio for strings doesn't even need lyrics to be the saddest piece of music I ever heard. I Will Follow You into the Dark. Death Cab for Cutie. Brothers in Arms gets me every time. Landslide, by Fleetwood Mac. I find that the older I get, the more meaning this song has. The Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald. Wish You Were Here, Pink Floyd edit. If I may, I'll chime in another song which per se is not so depressing, but these two lines from it always make my heart heavy. So I'm gonna hurl myself against the wall. 'Cause I'd rather feel bad than not feel anything at all. Ain't That Pretty at All by Warren Zevon. Pictures of You, The Cure. It's insanely heartbreaking and soul-crushing all at the same time. Father and Son, Cat Stevens. The line "For you may still be here tomorrow, but your dreams may not" is the single most brutal line in any song. Time in a Bottle by Jim Croce. Exit music for a film by Radiohead. Father and Son, Cat Stevens. Also Cats in Cradle tears me up edit. Thanks for the awards. Elephant by Jason Isbell. Youth, by Daughter. Real Death, Mount Erie. Every time one of these threads come up, this is the answer I search for. For anyone who doesn't know it, Phil Elverum wrote and recorded the album in the months after his wife died of cancer while caring for their infant daughter. This is the part of that song that always breaks me. Crusted with tears, catatonic and raw, I'd go downstairs and outside, and you still get mail a week after you died. A package with your name on it came, and inside was a gift for our daughter you had ordered in secret and collapsed there on the front steps. I wailed, a backpack for when she goes to school a couple years from now. You were thinking ahead to a future you must have known deep down would not include you. Cancer by My Chemical Romance. The counting down the days just gets me. Knowing you're going to die and nothing can change that. Watching your friends and family reacting to the slow burn, but you're still here just living as dead man for the last few days of your life. Cherry Wine Hosier. The song is about domestic violence from the victim's point of view, which is sad in itself, but what's even sadder is that it still is a love song. The music video is devastating. I don't think I've ever cried that much watching something. Brick Ben Folds 5.